Hola, ¿cómo estás? Ah, well, I'm not dead, but I've been booking extra hours of work, not necessarily intentionally, but I need the cash, so I've basically had no days off. I've been going pretty solid for the last, what, week and a half? No, since Tuesday. So that just about every Tuesday at this point. That's, I want to say guaranteed that I'll be uh, doing a views day at least, and probably a late night follow up. But I'm gonna keep trying to do that, uh, as this is no longer a place where I am able to shoot without any difficulty. There's no guarantee that I'll be able to shoot at the regular time, but I should be able to at least do a live video Tuesdays. I'm hoping Sundays as well. Um, I I kind of made it clear when I started these extra work hours for places out there that Sunday is my day and Tuesday is my take care of other things day. You can have me pretty much any other day, and boy, did they take me up on that one. So yeah, one of the places especially is a place that I started working at recently that it's just opened up. It's the grand opening has happened recently, and they opened a month and a half before they had any business opening. They really, really had no business opening as early as they did. They were not anywhere near prepared. And so the absolute back-breaking amount of work that they're pushing us through on at essentially minimum wage. We're getting minimum wage, and we're being pumped through way more work than is reasonable for the wage we're getting, especially. But yeah, you're not getting a lot of other people that are filling those spots in employment, which means they have less people to do the work that needs to get done. And it was already more work than they could get done in the time that they were trying to do it in. All that comes down to me saying that I'm essentially booked solid hours from, like, I'm working tomorrow all day. I've got Tuesday off this week, and I'm hoping they keep their word about keeping me off on Tuesdays from now on. And because I noticed the first week after, like, my first week started after Sunday and Tuesday. And so I figured everything was all right. And that next week's schedule, when it went up, it was uh, it was scheduled for Sunday, Tuesday, I think Friday and Saturday was the schedule, and maybe even Thursday. So they tried to have me for that, and I'm like, I already have other things I do on top of this. This is a filler part-time job. You can't crash land a full-time job on top of what I'm already doing and give me any random hours you feel like giving me. It just doesn't work that way. But that's what they're trying to do. But in the meantime, I have managed to. It got real close. It's really close to the wire on the. Wow, only been going for 5 minutes. Really close to the wire on the budget this month, just because of some of the costs of some of the things I've been working on. But theoretically, I have Tuesday off. I'm not coming into, like, I'm not filling. I have other things I need to do. And then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, all this week, every day this week is booked, and in many cases, double shifts. I have a couple shifts where I finish up at 10:30 p.m., take the half-hour drive back here, eat something, wind down for bed, get up, do about an hour and a half of prep in the morning, head back out so that I can get there to work by 7:30 in the morning the next morning. It's not cool, but especially at the pay rate I'm getting, I'm not super enthusiastic about it. I'm trying to use some of my spare time to see if I can secure a alternative gig. If I can get something that is less hours, big pay, which most of the jobs out there are, I'll swap to that one because I'm already doing stuff to earn a living before we add this. So, and I can't have them scheduling me for every hour of my week except for 2 days on a regular basis. I just can't do that and finish what I need to do. But that's what they've been trying to get me to do. And they're doing it. I get it. I get why they're doing it. They have more work to do than any store should have to do because they grand opened a month before they were ready to grand open. And they've only got about 4 employees. And it's the biggest store of its type in this state. They're just not ready to be where they are right now. And they hit us with a huge problem because there were some mysterious absences in some of our paychecks. The first week the first paychecks we all got, there were some missing funds from them. They have since said they will fix that, but that is not okay. And I don't know if it was a clerical error or what, but the manager resent out all our first day, time started sort of stuff. So it should be rectified. I think we're getting a paycheck on Friday to find out. It should be tacked on to that, is what they said. It doesn't inspire confidence in them. And first chance I get, if I have a chance to go somewhere else, I'm going to go somewhere else. It's just economically and time-wise is the big thing for me. Like, I was looking for part-time filler work between what I already do and my hobbies so that I could pull in a little extra funds to balance my budget by the end of the year. Because I want to do some big projects the end of this year and the start of next year. I want to do some bigger things that will actually require some funding. And I want to build back up some of the expenses of some of the projects I've done in the past, like some of the trips and interviews I've done for traveling across the country. I've still got some of that tab hanging on the back end of me. I mean, it's loans I borrowed from friends, but it's not. It doesn't sit well for that to be sitting as long as it's been sitting. I need to pay more than just a little at a time back. I want to try to chunk it all down and say, here we go. We've solved this. Let's not have any worries about that ever again. I don't like borrowing money. I hate borrowing money. But so that's, trying to find the way to make the funds to balance a lot of that out and enable me to do more interesting things by the end of the year is one of my primary focuses right now. But the way these people are handling it means I don't get to do some of the projects that I want to do. Like, I haven't had any time this past week to work on the video project or the board game that I'm working on this month. I mean, I know roughly what I'm going to do for the board game, but I don't have the time to sit down with the resources and craft out the board and do some play testing. I just don't have the time. And this coming week is booked solid. I have not a shot in Hades of getting anything done. And when this week is over, I don't know what the next week looks like. I would rather work for a place that could tell me, we're going to want you to come in every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. And that's your shift. That's what it's always going to be. That's what it is now. That's what it'll be next week. That's what it'll be the week after that. That's what I would rather have going on. But it'll be what it'll be. In the meantime, I have been working on reviewing some of the plans for the board game, and I'm getting one, and the video that I was working on, I did some recording for connection that was unstable. All right, fine. You're going to keep doing this garbage to me. I'm not going to keep playing with this. So now the internet's not going to work for me. That's awesome. So yeah, where was I? I don't even remember anymore. I recorded a little bit for the video that I want to do this month, the homage video. I've got the general premise of the board game down. There's still a little mechanic I need to work out, and I want to prototype the board with some foam core, which happens to be something I can get cheaply now. So I want to work on that, and then get those done. And so this week is supposed to be starting product development. And so I want to kind of see about doing something for the T-shirt design stuff. So just start up that service website thing, What's-a-Mahoozy. The Teespring, that's what it is. Start up a Teespring site and put in a few different logo T-shirts or something like that, and use the opportunity to see if I can design up and post for sale my superhero shirt. I don't know that the kaiju socks are ready yet, but I can give that a try too. And the tricky thing about the way I want to try to give that a go, I'm getting lag again. It's going to drop signal. I know it's going to do it. The kaiju socks, I kind of want to do it where I build physical prototypes. So like I'd go get a printed fabric that's supposed to look like reptile skin, and then sculpt eyeballs on it and teeth and lips and that kind of stuff, and then lay it flat on the bed of a scanner and have the scanner take a picture of it so that we can map it over the surface of a sock that you can purchase those socks for sale. That's the kind of way I want to do that. It's sort of the way I've been doing it. Like I know there's some people who could design it quickly in like Photoshop or something like it. My skills at Photoshop are not up to that yet. But I know I can go back and get a piece of fabric, and I can model with some very simple materials like Play-Doh even, and have something that I could have ready for sale. So that's sort of where I was hoping to get that tested out and done for the end of the month for the product month week. And then we'd be headed into next month, where I should hope that my hours are going to be more reasonable. Even if they're not, I think I'll have a better sense of how to get things done, because they can't keep me at the hours per week that they're doing right now. It doesn't hurt me right now, but that's because I have a little downtime from everything else I'm doing. But we can't have me working a 46-hour week next month on top of everything else I already do. It literally, there aren't enough hours in the week. There's going to be an overlap at some point, and then I'm going to have to tell somebody, just go something yourself. But in the meantime, what I'm hoping to be able to do is I don't get a lot of chance to film here. Tuesday night, I think I did moderately successful last time. The thing is, like, this isn't my place, and I've been fairly benefiting from the fact that it's not in the best condition. It's legally can't be rented, despite the fact that I am sort of renting it. Um, but now I'm not the only one living here either. So paper thin walls. There's somebody who smokes, somebody with a uh, substance abuse problem in their past, and associates who are still pretty heavily into that stuff. So I can't keep my stuff set up, and I can't keep it here, and I can't like there are no locks on the doors. There's no alarm here, and there's no heat in this room. So if I'm going to close this door, this room's going to be as cold as it is outside when I close this door. If I go to work, close this door, and do something to make sure they can't open it while I'm gone, it's going to take 3 or 4 hours for this room to warm up at the end of the night. And it's just like it sucks to have to break everything down every night and put it back up. And the hours other people are keeping, like I don't want to get yelled at or have people make noises or damage my equipment because I'm talking out loud at night. So it's limiting. I think I did okay with the webcam and the laptop at the makerspace. I think I did it once or twice from there. So moderate success on that front. I'm trying to remember. It's possible that the last one didn't go well. I may have had a drop signal there too. But I may use that option some nights when I have to. I might be able to get away with a space heater. The trick is, like, I don't want to start dumping 30 to 40 bucks a week into new things that are to solve a problem about the space that I'm in. You know, I don't want to do essentially half a day's work to pay for a heater to heat the space when I'm gone. We get a house close to a place where we have to get a car to drive to a place to earn a paycheck to pay for the house and the car to get to the place to pay for the house and the car. I was like, that defeats the entire purpose. That defeats the entire purpose. So I'm trying not to let myself get caught in loops like that. This isn't like a super huge problem, but it's a minor inconvenience. And it's just inconvenient enough to hit all the right spots to make this more difficult. Like, the easiest solution for me is to go back to doing more recording earlier in the day and upload those as upload videos rather than live. That may be something I do. I may see about there's some benefit in setting up some audio soundproofing. There's a little closet over here with a light in it. The lighting is not, high priority, but I might be able to hang like a comforter over the closet and use clothing for sound absorption, and therefore get a sound booth that I can get better sound isolation and not have to worry about some of the other stuff. And because it's a closet, it's not a walk-in closet by any stretch, but I've heard of some other big name YouTubers who have actually do a lot of their voiceover recording in a closet. So I may look into doing something like that. The winter, I've heard different things. I heard it was supposed to be a warmer winter, and I heard it was supposed to be a snowy winter. It's not a huge, I don't know how long the other people are going to be in this space. I've already noticed some of my kitchen stuff disappearing. Not happy about that. I'm literally out of forks. Who steals cheap forks? Honest to goodness. It's stupid. but it happened. And small bowls, like pudding bowls. Why? Like, what do you do? Oh, well, they're smoking in a house, so there's a possibility that some of those bowls are ashtrays now. But that's the other thing. It makes the house kind of unlivable when they're doing that. That's beside the point. Like, the walls are thin enough that, like, you could plug up all around the doors. You're still gonna smell that smoke in the house. I'm surprised they have a fire alarm. Probably because most of the fire alarms don't work. It is what it is. In the meantime, there are ways I can work around some of this. Like, I can record. It froze again. I can I can record daytime videos, I think probably in a relatively quiet part of the day. I may have to change here because that gets daylight into it, and that's not helpful. I've thought about setting up. You've seen the this way going this way shots before I set it up here, um, but I don't think you've seen shots going this way. And I think if I figure some things out in the next couple weeks, I may be able to set up a movable frame with green screen on it so that I can collapse it and fold it back in and out each time I need to use it. And it gives me control over what the background looks like. And that side of the room has no windows past this thing on the side. So if I can set it up so that I can shut off the interfering outside light and do controlled lighting in the top corners here, I could probably get a studio quality image. And if I do a few other things right, I should be able, like, this is a decent mic for getting, like, I'm far enough away from it so that it doesn't have that muffled, blunted sound that they sometimes get. But I think we can get decent voiceover quality by having the mic like this. So I can do a few different things, and I can tweak the audio in some editing software, I think, for edited videos. So there's some possibility of still making things work here. But setting up a simple lock on the door so that I don't have to worry about anybody getting in here when I'm not in here, so I don't have to tear everything down every time. And I mean, that's not a huge investment. I've done some locksmithing myself before. And other than that, just accepting the fact that, when I get home at night, I'll just crack the door open and stay out in the main part of the house where the heater does work, eat my dinner, work on some things on the computer, and it just means that I change up my schedule of when I'm uploading videos, is what I'm saying. So basically, in the long run, like, the easiest solution to most of these problems is just to bump my schedule a little bit. It's not ideal. And I do come back from these double shifts that I've been doing lately just absolutely exhausted. It's concrete floors for hours and hours a day. But we'll see what we can do. I know, like I said, Tuesday should be good. Every other Sunday I do some gaming with some friends, and I've actually thought about doing a series of videos. I've been wanting to watch some videos online because the group that I meet up with every other Sunday, we do some tabletop gaming. We're in the middle of a guy, he's working on a homebrew role-playing game of Dungeons and Dragons. And he built his own universe with his own characters and own storylines. And we're helping him play it and figure some things out. So we're having a bit of fun with that. And it's been decades since I touched a D&D game. And I'm having fun making very interesting characters. Character concepts, character stories, character designs. And as I did some, research for gameplay, I uncovered some channels that do some D&D content. And I have to admit, I'm certainly fascinated by some of what's out there. and I'd be kind of curious to try doing some of that sort of content myself. Like, I mean, I might do some dabbling with some of the terrain design. That's just fun artsy stuff. I've done stuff like that before for art pieces, not for landscape stuff. So you basically you do a lot of uh, carved foam and sealing off the surface of it with like a. I used to use a water-based polyurethane, but you can also do it with a wash of like Mod Podge or Elmer's glue all, and it seals the surface so that then you can spray paint over styrofoam without melting it. And uh, I've done some of that for prototyping board games, and I want to sort of do a better version of some of those. I kind of want to do it for the game that I'm working on this past week, and have a playable demo pieces that are done this way. And but I'd also like to try to do some of the terrain pieces and try them out and play around with that a little bit. But also, the thing I'm most interested about doing for these role-playing game character designs is I think it would be fun to do like a story time about my different characters. Or like I have ideas galore for characters of unique and interesting design. And I think it would be fun to just do a role-playing, like do an intro of a role-playing session, like basically an interaction from a game. And I will probably do it in the sense of things that aren't in our current game, because I don't want to spoil anything about my character to the other players if they watch, and I don't want to spoil the DM's universe because he plays it with some other people too. But I may twist some of that and make some of my own interactions and my own storytelling elements for it, and do just like a little story time of two characters interacting, and then give statistical data for the characters for using them in your own role-playing game. That would be kind of fun. I don't know if it's practical or worth the time or energy in doing it, but it's sort of like the few outlets other than my game design, other than my own creative projects over the last few months. The few things that I do for my own enjoyment, the gaming has been the most exciting for me, and so my brain has latched onto it as something to play with right now, and I'd love to find a way to share that. And I think that's one way to do it, is basically use a couple of my own creation characters and tell a little bit of a story where I introduce another character or an object or a scenario or a monster or something like that as just a part of a little story interaction video, and then make available data sheets about the things from that episode for people to download. I think that would be fun. And it would mix in game design, products, storytelling, video. If I make landscape for scenic shots for those, I don't know that we could find a way to. Well, we might be able to include some music or artwork. I don't think we'll be able to do much with food, perhaps. And like video game element, maybe. We might be able to make it work for all of them. That would be interesting. I'll have to think about that a little bit. But going into it, I have a couple this week's project. I keep forgetting it's Sunday already. Like, I'm still a week and a half in the past at this point. This is like my first time to stop and think about where I am in this month. I can't believe we're already 20 days into this month. Good Lord. I really don't want the rest of the year to go like this. I got a lot to do for the rest of this year on all fronts, and I don't want to feel like a month has passed me by before I noticed. All right, so this week is product design. I have a couple of, I built a master list. Even though I don't have a lot of time to do it, I still have in mind the projects and the schedule that I'm supposed to be working on. And so I sort of have this master list of snarky comments that I want to put on T-shirts. So I have a few of them. Like one of the very top ones is snarkmonger, like a fishmonger or an ironmonger, but snark for snarky comments and snarky words. And so like that's one. And I think I have a list of like 23 of them. Some of them are political. I may do some of that, especially as we go into the election cycle. You don't have to agree with me. That's okay. We can all have different opinions. I do think that perhaps marketing some politically minded stuff would be profitable. I don't know if I want to sell out that much, but I may do it anyway. Because if that kind of thing actually ends up selling, like it means that I don't have to go crunching hours at a retail job, which costs me hours I could be working on creative stuff. So I would much rather switch over on that cycle. And you know, if it means doing a few things like some T-shirts, that I can do. I was talking with somebody recently about like I still struggle with the idea of selling my art. I don't know why. Selling my art is hard. Selling stories, selling books, selling T-shirts of witty comments or statements, I don't have any problem with it. But it's the artwork that I'm a little uncomfortable with. I'll have to think about what that is and why my brain won't let me do that. But in the meantime, I will see about doing some, I don't want to call it logo design, type design, typography, some of that stuff in time to see if I can get a decent graphic design element for the T-shirts that I want to do. And I think I probably do 2 or 3 of the snarky comment word T-shirts. And I want to finish off the kaiju socks maybe. So I got to buy a swatch of fabric or something with the right design so that I can do some tinkering on the surface of it to get the look I want. And then the superhero design, I sort of have designed on their templates on the website for printing off those shirts. And I will now theoretically be able to order some test pieces done from them because it costs me money to do that. And it's going to be like $100 worth of orders just to test out the T-shirt, hoodie, and socks for one of those designs. So like one pair of kaiju socks, the hoodie design, and a T-shirt, I think would grand total out to about $100–120. If I wanted to get the individual T-shirts with the individual slogans on them, that would probably be an additional amount of money. Probably for 3 T-shirts, probably be about an extra $60. So all told, I would probably be about close to $200 by the end of it, including shipping. And that's still a lot just to test out how it works. And so like that's part of what I'm trying to fund here. The other part is like if I do my board game designs and I want to make the decks of cards that I use in the games something you could order rather than print out yourself and abuse. And like, cardstock's not going to survive 5 games. Your connection is unstable. Please wait while we try reconnecting. Thank you. That's super awesome when you drop the signal like that. The board game design aspect of some of this stuff, that I can sell some of those things on, they get expensive after a while. And in order to test out and try to make sure that they got everything as good as I could hope to get it, it's going to be expensive to get test prints. And so it's just like, that's some of the stuff I try to do. Like, I can do like print on demand board game stuff, and it's expensive to get test prints of that done. Or I can do some of the other stuff I know where I can get some free test prints done until we get everything worked out, but then I have to agree to purchase like thousands of copies of the game stuff, and I have to store and sell it myself. And that's harder to do, and I'm not sure I'm up for that. It's a little bit easier if I do something like a Kickstarter for some of that, but T-shirts are like an entry level. Like, print-on-demand T-shirts is pretty much at price optimized position right now. So that's something that's a little bit easier to test run on that. But printing books and stuff like that is a little bit easier too, because you can publish through Kindle with very little hurdle to getting it done, and very almost no cost. Ideally, you want to hire an editor, and potentially a formatting specialist to format for digital and print publishing. But yeah, so those are some of the things I kind of want to do by the end of the year. And then I've got some similar style projects to start the new year off. And having the funds to do it is sort of what's making it so that I don't have the time to do it. Like, it's stupid. You can have the funds or the time, but you can't ever have both of a thing. And I'm trying to ration it just enough so that I've got a little bit of time and a little bit of funds so that I can do a little bit of each. But it just means it goes slower and it gets harder to do scheduled videos like this. So I'm hoping to be able to try to do this more regularly. It's just going to take a little while for me to figure out how and when to pull it off. And part of that is, like, it's not just that I don't want to inconvenience the neighbors. Like, there is somebody in the next room, not right now because they're out, but they snore. I have never heard anybody snore that loud in my entire life. And not only do they snore like somebody's got a lawnmower running in the next room, but they have this thing, like, you know, people who can't sleep with the fan off, they can't sleep with the TV off. It has to be going, and they're hearing it. Like, their hearing isn't great, so their TV is blaring. They're sawing logs like I've never heard anybody saw logs in their sleep. And I can kind of suspect that maybe you'd be able to filter some of it with this mic, but no, there's going to be a certain amount of background noise to those, and it's not ideal, but I'll figure some stuff out. So for right now, I'm going to say Sundays and Tuesdays, and some daytime videos in the early parts of the day. Not every day though, because like I said, I've got a day scheduled. I think I've got 2 days scheduled this week where, like sunrise to quarter of midnight, I'm not here. So I won't be able to do much video content for those days, but I will try to touch base each day in some way. I may end up doing a batch of daytime recorded videos, and drop them throughout the week. We'll see. I'll see what I can figure out. I don't want to make any commitments I can't keep. 40 minutes. I got a 40-minute chunk of time today where I wasn't working and somebody wasn't sawing logs and blasting their TV in the next room. That's pretty good. All right. I will try to keep you appraised of where things are. So worst case scenario, I should be able to upload a video by tomorrow for daytime. I might be able to try to do something tomorrow night. And Tuesday, definitely, I should do a Views Day video and I might do it earlier in the day because I do have to go in for, I'm looking at going in for some training on a larger laser at the makerspace. It's my day off. There's a chunk of time where they're going to do some training in it. I need to take that training because there's a lot I can do with that. So I may go in for that. And that's at 6 p.m. So Views Day may be before 6, so probably around 4-ish. And nighttime video I might do from the makerspace. We'll figure it out. I will get you a schedule at some point in the next couple of weeks that should be reasonable. Until then, I'll see you when I see you. Have a good one. Hopefully you're doing something interesting and creative yourself. Take care and have a good night. I've forgotten how to do this already. It feels like months since I've been on here. It's not been months. It's been like a week and a half, right? All right. All right. Take care.